All right, we're going to take a forward look into the market. Last week's point of control was 384.16. The upper value area is 385.86. What I'd be looking for right now, I mean, this was a hell of a move last week. So either we just created a higher low on the daily, or we are going to stall out around this 394 level. So what I would like to see for continuation is a break of last week's high, which is the 386.87, and then break this swing high right here of 390.83 and then target this 393.16 level. If we can break 393.16, I would be targeting this imbalance here, this gap fill. This is a 401.44. Okay. Mitigate this candle and then head back down. So optimal entry to go short would look something like this, about 50% through the way. And then I'd be watching on the hourly to see if we wick into this and then reject. GameStop's next. Disregard all this Christmas looking stuff on the chart. I just want to say real quick that for GameStop, it busted above the 138.44 level and then made its way up to 151.95, which was that large area of overhead supply. Since point of control has shifted down to 128.28. So it made its way up, rejected that overhead supply, found, relative equal lows here, and then is making its way back up. What I'm curious about is if 151.95 can be taken out, then I'd be buying some calls because this imbalance that it left behind this is a fair value gap, and we have some imbalances we left behind. So what I'd be looking for is I need to see price at least reclaim this level because this is an optimal short entry right here, right in this candle, until it proves it can take 151.95. And then your bear thesis in that scenario would be it rejects, loses 138.44, comes down, fills out this imbalance level right around the 135 level, and then makes its way down to 125.66, and then it looks to clear up this gap that it left behind. Now there's an even larger candle down here. Do I, you know, the trend right now is bullish, so that's probably the less likely of the scenario. What is more likely to happen is 151.95 gets taken out, and then you run to 173.70 in the upper value area of 191.89. And if this swing high can get taken out at 200, well, it can get pretty crazy, right? And GameStop can be a beast. So for Apple, um, hell of a move down here. Reclaimed the 145.82 level and actually reclaimed the yearly point of control. What I'd like to see for Apple for bullish continuation is to take out 152.08 and then head up to the 200 SMA and have a date with that 158.33. That also leaves this large imbalance here. It gives us some time to fill out this price, make sure that it's accepted or not. And a bear thesis, what I'd look for is 148.21 to get taken out. And if that level can get taken out, I'm looking to come back in and fill from this massive move. That dark pool print at 135.43 has been a huge area of interest. We could see how prices respected it over time. So I'd keep that level in mind as well. Microsoft is kind of a slug, and it looks like we got a little pin bar down here, right? Because if I'm looking at this on the yearly, let me just zoom in so you can see this. If you're targeting imbalances, right? And that's the way you're trading. This right here, right? Look at the delivery of this price candle, right? Comes up, fills it back in, and that's right at the yearly lower value area. It looks like price can continue back down. So I mean, I don't like the look of that. And for me to want to get long in this name, I would already need an outsized move because what I'm looking for is a break in structure, right? Now, we didn't take out this low yet, but we also haven't taken out these areas into this one. So let's see what's going on the smaller time frames. We have 249.16 is our lower value area, and 257 is our point of control for last week. All right. We have this imbalance here, and that look at the delivery of this candle. So This has already been filled in, almost 50% retracement. So I'd really like to see price, if bullish, stay above 256.51 and then make its way into the 263.81 level. All right, and now if it can do that, I'd like to see 269.06 get taken out and then run that buy side liquidity. Someone requested Veru, so um, this is crazy. Look at this. From a penny stock to this massive run. First thing that pops out to me is I'm looking at this volume. I'm surprised the price has been able to stay elevated with volume at such a reduced number compared to the initial pop. Obviously, this was short covering, but what would I need to see for Veru? Well, I need 1665 to continue to hold. If it can't hold, I'm targeting 1563, and then I'm looking at 1456. Okay, and the the volume of shares traded, it really hasn't left behind many imbalances, right? For the last 2 weeks, it's just on the year. Now, it's catalyst driven, obviously, to do this move. Um, so for continuation, I need to see 1777 taken out, right? That's the most recent high. I would add, if I believe that this trend will stay in place, I would look to add at $15.97. Sorry about the dogs. Chewy with a hell of a move. So it's at the yearly point of control right now, and it did get up to 45 last week. So 45.70, back down. There's a lot of liquidity here. Look at these wicks, right? So what I'd be looking for is to fill out, well, I mean, I'm looking on this yearly, this 3384 area. So I guess if I'm looking to fill that out, I'd be looking for a yearly point of control rejection back down in here, possibly create a higher low, and then burst up through there, get some momentum from the breaking the 200 SMA at 47.72, targeting 57.99. In a bear thesis, 4206 needs to be taken out, and then I'd be targeting this candle here, which would be about 40.25, and then 35.25. ABBV, I'd be looking for a price to remain above 152.90, and then I'd be targeting 154.42 up into, well, we've pretty much mitigated this area. So there's not much here above to run this high again at 175.91. Now for a bear thesis to lose 152.90, we'd be looking at 151.60, 148.65, and then we would start mitigating these imbalances below. And if we're taking out these imbalances below, we're probably flirting with this 200 SMA at 138.92, which that could be a nice trade from 153.62 right now. So ideally, 148.66 needs to be lost, right? That would be the main pivot level right now to target these imbalances on this swing low. And if this is taken out, we're talking a rather large drop down here to the 125 level. CRISPR Therapeutics, so it's at a good level right now, right at the upper value area. So if 84.19 can be broke, we'd be looking at this next area of overhead supply at 96.33. And then we got an imbalance here at 108.25, and then we would be targeting the 120.83 level. This is actually a good looking chart here, right? Consolidated, broke out, had a change in structure, came back down, mitigated, broke back through point of control, consolidated one more time. This is kind of letting you know. I mean, this is all past tense trading though. So what would I need to see for an entry? Well, my entry would be the 8404 break. But if it would lose 81, I'd be looking to get in right around 7809. I would just be wary of this down here. Okay, so the 7648 level, which is actually upper value area, 7518. So add at the 7518, that would give you relative equal lows. If it did lose that, then you got 7238, and then you got this large imbalance down here. So this candle sticks out to me. And that's probably where I would target price to go if it cannot break above 8404. Coin's not really doing much. It is sitting at yearly point of control at 56.63, and that's a large drop from the 368.90 it was at. What I need to see it do, I mean, it's just snaking right here, right? It's consolidating for a move. You got relative equal highs up here at 64.09. And I mean, if it can get going, so let's say we take out the 64.09. My next price target would be running this high here. This would be the 83.32, and then we have an imbalance, tiny overhead supply at the 122.41 level, and then a little more at 183.89, which the 200 SMA is 188.09. So, I'd hate to see anyone buy this and get chopped up. So you're looking for a clear break-in structure, which would take place above this high of 63.70. And then you would just target all this liquidity above. Right, it's a similar story. It did have a nice move though, and you know, there's a lot left behind on this chart. I remember I was targeting this drawing I had here. Um, so what I would like to see price do is for continuation break above the $5.70 range, and then we would make our way to this overhead supply at 1164, and then we have major supply at 1527. These are people who either bought the dip a little bit early and they got screwed on that trade. 200 SMA is 1850, and then our upper value area is $30.94. So really not a bad spot to accumulate in here. We were adding around $5 and $6. We had some bids for 3 in case it dropped that low. Um, so this, if you're comfortable holding shares, this could easily be a 100% play on shares, easy. Um, and as far as the floor for it, I looked back, it was like, right around that $2-3 range. So you could lose 50% or you could gain 100%, or even 300% on shares. All right, Tesla. So kind of consolidating around this point of control, lower value area. So lower value is 634.04, and point of control is 715.62. So I mean, it's kind of a bit of a range, right? Almost like 80 points. What I'd like to see price do is we're sitting on this little volume shelf here. If you could get an entry around 703.06, I would target the 734.94 break and then the 764.94 break. If you take out these relative equal highs, you're going to be looking to fill this imbalance here at 823.54, 200 SMA at 908.83, and then this imbalance up here at 974.60, all the way back up to 1,000. My bias has been slightly off the last 3 days with the market. I was still leaning bearish, and we kind of went on that little bit of a rally. We do have earnings coming up, though, so that could be what would send us lower. I would look for a 634.04 break into the 620.57. If we can take out that 620.57 area, we would look for a return back down to the 515 level. Got a request for bonds, so TLT. Well, if for a breakout, right? We did have this shift in structure right here on the interim. From 108.12 is our swing low. We're at 116.14 right now. I'd be targeting 125.63, and then this overhead supply right here at 131.20. 200 SMA is at 133.63, so it'd probably meet up right exactly at that point. Look to see what price does there. And then that would lead to this high. So if it could take out that area. Now, it's not leaving many imbalances behind, but if you look at this, we have some gaps here. So 112.59 would probably be an ideal loading spot. And then as long as the swing low doesn't get taken out, you'd be good. PLTR is, I don't know. I don't know. Once this thing is sucked to trade. I've gotten into it a few times, but what I'd look for, well, currently price target would be heading to fill out this imbalance and then up to this overhead supply at like 930, right? So you're looking for like a 26-cent move. The point of control on the yearly is 1292, but in the last 2 weeks it's 917. So I need price to break above 917 and then make its way to 991 and then take out the swing high of 1038. If it can take out 1038, we're looking pretty good. Our price target would be 1177, then the 1292, and then 1499. If we can fill out all of these imbalances, that would be nice, because then our top shelf would be right around the 23, 26 level, you know. But I mean, it's PLTR, it hasn't moved at all really.